a podcast. Yeah.
That'd
Get
be
fed all kinds of ridiculousness.
disaster.
Do you disagree with me about getting your kids out of the house and living on their own?
I would hope that I would be able to raise my boys in a way where they would want to
Want to what?
leave the house.
Peace out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And go conquer something.
No.
Like
people, our human nature is to be lazy.
Yeah, that's a human
nature's
nature.
gonna
But
be
if you're
for a while,
training
right?
and set expectations from a young age of like, hey, what are you going to go do? Like, start thinking about these things. And you're praying with them at 12 about it. Like, God, lead me in the right direction, or any stuff like that. Yes, we're still going to be inclinations and stuff like that. So I guess I agree with it in terms of how do you go about it? Does that mean all of a sudden when they're 20 years old, like you're out and there's no help?
Set
Like,
a
what
date.
does it
That's a
look
great idea.
like? What does it look like? You know, and yeah.
Lots of our kids already tell us that they're going to live with us for a very long time, right? So maybe that's why I feel like this. I'm like, oh boy.
You want your freedom back?
Well, there'll never be that. It's more just the idea of like, yeah, they got to think about, hey, what does it mean to be an adult and be responsible?
Okay, so there's another note in here that's related to this. Were we better off than 50 years ago? Are we better off today than we were 50 years ago? Is Gen Z's reluctance to move away from their birthplace a factor in the housing crisis?
There's no housing crisis. First clarification. Like that's just totally government made up.
What do you mean there's no housing crisis?
There's no housing crisis. Like
define a housing crisis.
People, when they say housing crisis, they think lack of affordable housing in Canada.
Yeah.
That's what they think of. That the actual answer to that is back to what we talked about earlier. And people don't understand this. It's worth learning. Like it's worth learning and understanding money supply, M2 money supply. It's worth learning things about the amount of like dollars that are created. It's the devaluation of our fiat currencies.
Yeah, go watch my episode with Mark Venort on Bitcoin, and he explains what money is and the definition of money. And basically, like back in the day when in Africa they used beads as their exchange. That was their money that they exchanged things with. And then all of a sudden the slave traders came with bags and bags of beads, and everyone's super excited. And all of a sudden realized that like now your bread isn't worth 2 beads anymore. Now it's 500 beads.
Yeah. So that is exactly what has happened with our houses. And so like there's houses available, but what about, they're just not affordable. But they're not affordable because of inflation. Right? So
there's enough houses.
There's enough houses
for people. Isn't there? It isn't part of the issue amount of immigrants that have come in.
Of course, that will sort itself out very quickly when they turn the supply off, and you can see that there is serious, like the immigration tap will be turned off, and there's a lot of the wrong product for people. So like if you look in Toronto, for example, there's I think 8 months worth of supply at least of condos for sale. Well, they're just awful. Like if you went and looked at the design and did a bit of studying, you'd be like, nobody's going to live in that. There's a term that, people like Ron Butler use, the dog crate condo. They're tiny. They're like 350, 380 square feet, weird shapes, no natural light, right? Like, of course, no one wants to live in that. But even in BC, like, and another realtor shared it the other day, there's a cancellation of a project by a very well-known developer. Like, nothing financially is working out now, right? So businesses are like, hey, they sold 60% of a building in Vancouver or near Vancouver. And then they just canceled the whole project, and they're going to give everybody their deposit back because it just doesn't work financially, right?
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do with people who can't afford a home now?
They're going to move away. You can move away. You can move. Like there's houses for sale. I want to say in Saskatchewan for under $100,000.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I mean, you're living in the middle of nowhere, but hey, and I feel like a hypocrite in this conversation. I don't like this conversation because I've always felt a niggling in my heart that like, hey, if I wanted to really do my family, my children a favor. And our forefathers did it for us coming from Holland to here and other countries, right? Like European immigrants and whatever. I feel like we should be doing a favor and moving somewhere else.
I think about it a lot.
Yeah, but you just want to move to where people think the same way as you, right? Like
no.
Somewhere in the deep south, right?
No, I mean, a huge part is affordability.
Fair enough.
Like I was saying earlier, running a small business up here, and the amount of taxes you have to pay and the different things you're dealing with. Just like
there's a guy I follow on Twitter now, and he moved to Ecuador. Very interesting.
Yeah, I was looking at
very affordable. Yeah.
And what about how, like a lot of someone actually I talked to last week said it's how to accomplish something. Lots of young people feel hopeless. Affordability, lending to make buying a house happen. Is there a way to make it happen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because this guy explained that he had bought a farm one day, and he got help to buy the farm,
Yeah.
or the guy gave money off. And what does that look like now, practically? Should we be doing that? Should we be helping?
There are people that will help and I guess I look at it like even in the hardest of circumstances, there's opportunity for people that are looking for them and that are motivated, right? And I would say that in our society today, the bulk of the culture is very lazy and very entitled. So theoretically, if you're, in the higher percentile of motivated, you should be fine. It's just that the expectation, like especially younger generations, they value things like weekends off and people live for weekends. There's people that walk alongside me in my life and they're just like pumped for like looking forward to the weekend. I've never
You still never do that.
I've never looked forward to the weekend in my life. The other thing is young people, I've been learning this from mortgage brokers and even just kids I'm hanging out with, they get vehicle payments. And I'm like, there's nothing worse for your future than getting a vehicle payment at a young age. Like, it's just not necessary. Just buy a cheap, reasonably quality vehicle that gets you from A to B. But there again, there's the pressure to have a nice truck or a nice car. And I totally get it.
Image.
I totally get it. I'm just saying that will kill you when you try to go buy a house.
Yeah. But also, I mean, we are comparing to what the previous generation has in terms of housing and stuff like that, what they're able to buy. And so we have that same expectation, but most of the world do live in apartments.
Yeah, and that's where you're going to start here. And I would agree. I don't like that idea, right? And I feel like,
especially as Christians, this isn't our home. Like, this isn't like where we're supposed to like make everything perfect.
No, but you don't want to live in a dog crate condo in the meantime.
No, you don't. I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's easy or that I want to do it. Like, I'm thankful I get to like rent a place. I do. It's a beautiful place in the country. And that's not, it could be way different. And it would be hard otherwise, but you don't know, what God's going to do with that, right? Like, usually hard times, definitely my own experience, have taught me a lot. And I've gained a lot from it. Like, just being comfortable and getting what you want, what does that do for you?
Yeah. That was the theme of our last podcast, was struggling. Struggling was a good thing. Somebody sent me a screenshot of everything that we said, and it was pretty funny. Or funny. It was just like, oh.
Actually, it's funny how you started that podcast. And so someone reached out and listens and says, it was actually Gary introduced you guys the right way, because he said Kyle and I, and apparently I always say it wrong. But then he went back and said, no, it wasn't.
This is the grammar police here.
Grammar police.
I love it.
Yeah. So I told them Mr.
They cannot help themselves either. The grammar police cannot help themselves. People in family like that.
Okay, death penalty.
Oh, we're back there again.
Back to death penalty, because someone had heard us talk about it, how I said I wasn't sure about it anymore. And you said your mom had challenged you on it. And so they sent in a question that says, so previously on your podcast, you talked about the death sentence. You were not for it, which isn't the case. I said I wasn't sure. But the question is, hey guys, if you enjoy that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.